going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chucky! I didn't say.
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Hope you guys really did have a great day. It is Wednesday. It is Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. All right. I've got some court. Yeah, I don't really have any updates on anything else at the moment. Friday is a go. I have decided to go on Friday, so I will be there. That's about it. So I'll be there for what we're all hoping for is the Haley's dismissal, the dismissal of Haley's case. That's what we're all hoping for. There are a couple issues behind the scenes that should probably be figured out by Friday. It all has to do with moving that amount of money, and it's taken a little bit more time than they planned on. But I mean that's foreseeable, that because it's a lot of money trying to move it multiple places. So that's going on right now. But that's about it. So that should be worked out by Friday, hopefully. That's about it. That's the only update on the Haley case right now. So let's move on from that for this evening. I've got a good one. This is my first case is the one that I was telling you about last night, where I asked you guys if you want me to play it. You said yes, so I'm playing it. This is the former NFL player that gets himself into trouble. His attorney gets himself into trouble. But if you remember me asking last night, there's a reason why I was debating playing it is because I don't have the end. But I do think we know how it's going to end. But once we watch it, you're gonna. I think you guys know what's going to happen. So let's get into it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. Let's go.
In case number 692472 in the matter state of Texas versus Mr. Rance William Olison. And let the record reflect that the defendant / probationer is in the courtroom in person. Can I get the attorneys to announce for and on the record, please?
Jordan Sims for the state of Texas.
Brian Bernard for the defendant, Rance Olison. Your Honor, when I address the court, do I stand or stay seated?
You can stay seated. Okay. All right. So we're about to commence a hearing on a motion to revoke probation. It is a contested hearing. Mr. Olison, your attorney will be afforded time to make argument. I'm going to hear from the state first. I just want you to know how this is going to play out. They're going to make their allegations on the record. I'm then going to ask you, allegation by allegation, if the allegation is true or not true. I understand the state has the burden to prove their case, but if you're going to testify that it's not true, I'm going to expect that you can support that answer. I'll give you an example. Maybe, and I don't see it alleged anywhere in the file, but maybe they allege that you had a dirty UA. And I ask you, sir, on this day, did you violate condition number 2 and submit a urine sample that was positive for marijuana? And you say, is it true or not true? You say, not true. Okay. The state is alleging that it's true because they have a positive drug test. So I'm going to expect that with your not true, you be able to support that not true. What would make it not true, sir?
Yes, me?
Yeah.
Not true is not taking the test.
Or
if it's not true,
Or if we have a test to show that he was negative on that date.
yes.
okay, that's better because evidently the state has a test that shows you are positive. So you arguing that you did not take the test would be disingenuous, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you have an idea of what I'm expecting from you, which is honesty and candidness.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to swear you in, and that's what the oath holds you to. All right. After I hear from you, I'm going to hear from probation, and she's on the screen now. That's our court liaison officer, Officer Martinez. Once I hear from her, then your attorney can take all the time he wants to make his presentation to the court. The court will then marshal all of the evidence and decide whether any action is appropriate, and if action is appropriate, what action is appropriate.
Yes.
Any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I need to swear you in. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury should you make a false statement or lie to the court?
Yes, yes.
You may put your hand down. Okay, let's begin with the state. And today, Mr. Jordan Sims is the prosecutor representing the state. Mr. Sims, you filed, or your department filed, a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, adult probation.
Yeah.
And so you will go first, and the court will hear what your allegations are now.
Your Honor, on September 26, 2023, in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Rance Olison did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for intake in violation of condition number 4.
Okay,
That is the only violation we are alleging.
okay. So that is all they're alleging, Mr. Olison. So my question to you is now, so on September 26th of 2023, over a year ago, in Bexar County, Texas, you did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for intake in violation of condition number 4. Is that true or not true?
Not true.
Not true. So you did report? I can't have you coaching the witness.
Okay, so he doesn't, I can't assist him at all.
Do you assist witnesses up here, sir? Because I can call them up here.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Answer the question. Well, Your Honor, he would like to change his answer.
He can do that.
Okay,
Okay.
but please explain.
Yes. May I explain?
So yes means true.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
May I explain? The attorney I had at that time, I asked him and I spoke with somebody within probation, and they said they sent me an MTR, and they said, have my lawyer contact them. When my lawyer contacted them, the probation, they said there was nothing on probation. And so I followed up again on another email what I sent, and they said they already issued me MTR.
Is that your reason for not reporting as court ordered?
I was trying to follow with my attorney. I've never been in.
Is the attorney a judge?
No, he actually.
Did the attorney sign the court order?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Anything else, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So we have a updated response as true. I want to ask you another question, Mr. Olison. Where were you on September the 26th of 2023?
I was working. I was in Austin.
In Austin.
Yeah, that's when I lived in Austin.
And when you were placed on probation, did the order allow you to move to another county for supervision?
I was already working in Austin. I came.
Listen to my question, because evidently you're not understanding my questions. My question to you is, when you were placed on probation, did that court order state that you could be supervised out of another county or work in another county?
Only thing I ever got was the pretrial, like the pretrial. I never got the issue for probation.
Well, it sounds like you need to look into a refund, maybe even a grievance with your first attorney, sir, because nothing's helped you so far. Anything else, sir?
No, man. Like I said, I filed for pretrial. I guess for the pretrial with Miss Jessica Lighting. We came down because we had a fundraiser down in San Antonio. That's the day I got arrested, but I was always working in Austin at Del Valley High School.
Okay, that all should have been presented at your prior hearings, not today. And state, we have a true plea from Mr. Olison. What is the state seeking?
The state is seeking revocation, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, do I get to question him at all to try?
You do when it's your turn.
I'm not going to say the judge doesn't like him. Probably doesn't have an opinion on him whatsoever. But you're about to hear what he's done. So he didn't report. He's living and working in another county. He pretty much blew up probation. He took the plea and just blew up probation. This is a former NFL player. Not saying that means anything for his way of thinking, but maybe that is what I was assuming. Maybe he just thought that I took the plea, I can just pay the fines and costs, and I'll be finished with it. No, I don't even know if we learned what the charges are, they said the charges happened a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know if they talk about this, but talk about the charges at all. But this is just a violation of probation here. Oh, before I go any further, first off, Bad Scooter, thank you so much for the 8 months. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Bad Scooter. Thank you very much. Another giant thank you is to Mimi. Mimi, thank you so much for the Cash App last night. You sent it right at the end of the stream, apparently, and I did not see it until after the stream. So, Mimi, thank you so much for the very generous Cash App last night, and I hope your hot sauce turns out amazing. And I know it will because you're a great cook. So enjoy the hot sauce. I do want some. If you bottle it and start selling it, I will buy a bottle. They're gonna they'll say it here. Man, I'm stuttering. They'll say it here shortly if they haven't said it already. It wasn't a name that I was familiar with, so it's not a big ex-NFL player. He's just a former NFL player. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the name off the top of my head.
I'm going to now ask probation, which is Court Liaison Officer Martinez, what the recommendation is from adult probation. And Officer Martinez, can you give the court a brief summary on Mr. Olison's overall compliance with his conditions of probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Probation is recommending revocation in this case. And the reason for that recommendation of revocation is the reason this MTR was filed was Mr. Olison was charged with 3 offenses for possession of a controlled substance.
I'm gonna check, is she allowed to go into testimony about allegations that have not been alleged here at this hearing?
Oh, well, I already read it because it's part of the court file that I reviewed to prepare for this hearing. So this hearing is based on a motion filed by the state. And anytime there's a motion filed, there's a court summary filed with it as well.
Sure. So my objection can be overruled, but I am making an objection that she's now testifying about facts not that the state is not moving forward on today.
Objection is overruled.
Your Honor.
Yes.
At this time, the state would like to ask the court to take judicial notice of the file in its entirety.
We'll do so. Thank you. Anything else, Officer Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was taken into custody. I do believe that his attorney sent jail days for credit that he was in Austin. I believe it was in excess of 90 days. I no longer have the document that he sent me. It was inadvertently deleted from my account, but I know he provided the state with the document as well.
If I understand you correctly, Officer Martinez, are you saying that his prior attorney or this attorney may have asked that he get credit for times that he served in Travis County?
This attorney.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Do we know what he was serving time for in Travis County? Was it related to this offense or was it a different offense altogether?
It was 3 offenses he was arrested for in Austin.
Okay, so it's 3 separate offenses not having to do with anything on this case.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, for the court's information, I would like to note that intake sent Mr. Olison instructions on how to report along with referrals to his BIP class that were court ordered and information on who to report to upon after intake. There was no response to that email. The email was the email I verified, the email that he listed on his data sheet when he accepted probation. Additionally, the phone number that he provided on that data sheet had an extra digit. We were not able to contact him at that phone number because he listed an extra digit in the middle of his phone number. Eventually, we were able to figure out the correct phone number and we sent him text messages and made numerous phone calls to which he did not respond. And additionally, I would like to inform the court of information that is listed on the court summary regarding his lack of any type of attempted contact with probation. He did not pay fines or fees. He did not do any community service hours. And his behavior in court was very concerning. I understand he's a coach and wants to work with kids, high school kids. However, he was not able to control his behavior in court. And that was witnessed by 2 deputies, the court coordinator, and the Reflejo court coordinator, along with myself.
Okay. Mr. Bernard, the floor is yours. You can take as much time to Examine your client and make argument to the court.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. I was waiting for Judge Rosie to come back in frame. Yeah, you guys have been saying it. I think her hair looks great. She has a very close haircut to mine, but hers looks so much better. It's so clean. I'm very jealous of how she does that. I really am. Every time she's on Zoom, I'm like, I wish I could talk to her for hair tips because her hair looks amazing. And I that is kind of what I strive for with mine. Just so you guys all know, just a little personal on my side. What court is this? This is Judge Rosie Speedling Gonzalez. I want to say she's San Antonio. I don't know. No, is she Bexar County? I feel like she says Bexar County a lot. I don't know. I watch too many courts in Texas, and I don't know Texas that well, so I'm just guessing at this point. But she's in Texas. Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez, and she's in Texas. Those are facts.
Mr. Olison, when you were placed on probation, were you provided a copy of the terms of your community supervision?
No, sir.
And as I look at the community supervision sheet, I see that it does not possess your thumbprint or your signature. Did your attorney at the time give you a copy of this?
No, sir.
Were you aware that you were supposed to have a meeting on September 26, 2023 with probation here?
26. No.
Let me be clear. The report indicates that you had a meeting set up with probation in Bexar County, the violation report on September 26, 2023. You did not attend that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you aware of the meeting prior to September 26, 2023?
No, sir.
When is the first time you spoke with a Bexar County probation officer about your probation?
I think it was I never spoke to the officer. I think it was the supervisor. The supervisor was second week, so it must have been the second week. And she told me to,
Okay, let me stop you. I need you to be clear with
Okay.
your answers. March 17, 2023, you are placed on community supervision. Do you recall that date?
yes, and I recall the date.
After March 17, 2023, when was the next time you had contact with a probation officer of Bexar County?
I never had a probation officer. It was September, I think the 26th, is those weeks after I got out of jail. And so it's the 19th, so it's that next week.
Okay, so there is a document I have in my hand. It is called a time in custody. And this is out of Travis County. And on this sheet, it indicates that you were in custody from December 27, 2023, all the way until April 30th of 2024.
Yes,
Now, this period of incarceration is after your alleged missed probation meeting.
yes, sir.
Are you saying that you were incarcerated prior to September 26, 2023?
Before that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, I was just going to say the same thing Jedi did. I don't think they say it on the record whether or not he was appointed or he's private. But he's an ex-NFL player. I imagine he paid for his own attorney. I don't know that for a fact, but I would assume.
When were you incarcerated? From what period of time to when?
September, I think it was I was in there 8 days. September, I don't recall the dates.
Okay. Yeah, I want to mark respondents or defendants exhibit number 1. It is simply a time in custody sheet.
And then can you please show it to the state for any objections if they have any? How'd you mark it? Defense Exhibit 1? State, any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
It's entered. You may proffer it.
Now, when I look at the state's motion to adjudicate your guilt, they filed a motion on September 27, 2023, which is one day after you had missed your appointment. Were you aware that they had issued or they had filed a motion?
No, sir.
Your Honor, I have filed a motion to quash the petition to revoke. And I believe that it is in the file in front of you, but if not.
We're not going to consider that today. It got accepted by the clerk today. There's not sufficient notice to the state to review that motion and prepare. So it's not timely. We saw that it was filed. You did not perfect that motion and even ask for a setting.
Judge, once again, I'm going to preserve my client's right of appeal.
Make your objection.
I'm going to object to your ruling. And I'm also going to point out to the court that I have every right to make a legal argument.
I'm not stopping you, sir. Go ahead and make your argument, Mr. Bernard.
The Court of Criminal Appeals has explained that community supervision is not a right, but a contractual privilege. And the statute I did cite in my motion, you've taken judicial notice of the file. So
Are you making an argument on that motion that I just told you the court was not going to entertain today because you did not timely file it? Is that what you're doing, Mr. Bernard?
I'm allowed to argue.
Not in this court today. Stop. You can make a bill of exception after the hearing if you want, but not today. You did not timely file that motion, Mr. Bernard. You don't just get to come in here and hijack this hearing. Do you understand that, Mr. Bernard? We're going to move on.
For the record, Judge, at the start of the hearing, the judge informed my client to file a grievance against his old client for ineffective counsel.
I didn't use those words, but I told him he had some, Mr. Bernard, I'm not going to argue with you and you need to stop interrupting me. Understood? Those were not the exact words I used, and he seemed to have an issue with his prior attorney and lack of communication with him. You and I both know that that is a violation of professional ethics and conduct. I am a judge who's a gatekeeper of this profession, and that I am within my discretion to give him what his options are. Now, that does not mean that you get to come in here under that umbrella and hijack this hearing based on comments I made about another attorney who I don't even know who they are. Okay? Stop, Mr. Bernard. You're not doing yourself any favors. We are going to finish this hearing on a motion to revoke its probation. If you wanted that motion to quash heard, you should have filed it timely as per the rules of criminal procedure. You should have given proper notice to the state. You might have even been able to get the state to waive notice, but I don't think that has happened. And we've started the hearing. Next subject on your list of items you want to cover, Mr. Bernard, you may proceed. You've been given the option to make a bill of exception after the hearing.
Were you ever explain what your obligations on probation were?
No, sir.
There was some testimony by probation that they had communicated with you via email, giving you notice about the September 26th hearing. Do you recall ever receiving that email?
It wasn't a hearing.
I mean, the
The
appointment with probation,
appointment.
The appointment with
Appointment.
probation.
the appointment with probation.
Yes.
Do you recall receiving an email saying,
Yes.
Mr. Olison, you have an appointment on September 26th?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I gotta pass the witness.
Mr. Sims, any questions of Mr. Olson?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll now entertain closing arguments from Mr. Olson and, I'm sorry, from Mr. Bernard and then Mr. Sims.
Your Honor, Mr. Olson, I believe prior to this hearing, had the option of entering a plea of truth, and he would have been able to receive essentially time served because the warrant was issued on September 27, 2023. And after that time, he was incarcerated while the warrant was outstanding.
I'm going to stop you right there, Mr. Bernard. I know this is closing argument, but the court determines, not you or anyone else, if Mr. Olson is going to get time served. Because the court is allowed discretion, and the full range of punishment is up to 1 year at the Bexar County Jail, plus up to a $4,000 fine, and he could lose his Second Amendment constitutional right to bear firearms, have guns, and handle ammunition. So,
I would,
go ahead.
I would like to be able to make an argument and then take the court where I'm headed. This is not anything that obligates you. I understand that. I practiced for 27 years. Nothing I say will really, you don't have to follow. But I need the court to understand what Mr. Olson was thinking. And I think that is my job.
It is your job, and I need you to understand my job.
And I do.
Okay?
And I do.
I don't think you do, because Mr. Olson submitted an application, a request to be placed on community supervision that was granted with the understanding that he was going to fully comply with the court order and his conditions of probation. That was his second chance. The onus is on Mr. Olson to comply. The state should not have to chase him all over the state of Texas to get his attention to comply with the court order. You may proceed, Mr. Bernard.
Yes, Sparkle, I agree, but Judge Rosie's fired up. She is leaning forward and paying a lot of attention to this. I'm guessing the camera's set up for what, when she's sitting normally in her chair, but she is leaning forward and she is angry. So that's why I'm guessing she's not there. But we've seen her. She's been popping in and out.
So, today we are here because he missed a court hearing on September 26, 2023. And the very next day, a warrant was issued for his arrest. And at that time, he was no longer on probation. We then was looking at an issue of coming here before you on a motion to revoke. Mr. Olson would like the opportunity to complete probation.
Mr. Bernard, you just said something, and I had to think about it 3 times before I stopped you right now. You said a warrant for his arrest was issued on the 27th day of September 2023, the day after he did not appear for a report office visit to his probation officer. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to say something to you now.
Sure.
I don't know if you know anything about the processes or protocols in Bexar County, but that's an impossibility. The warrant would not have been issued the day after because it takes time for that officer to generate a report and a request for a warrant. And then it takes time for that warrant to make itself through the electronic processes to get to my desk.
I stand correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bernard.
All right. I think we all need to have a brief moment of silence for how Judge Rosie just said electronic. She said electronic. She pronounced every syllable in the word. We need to take a quick moment of silence for that. I had to find something to pick on her for. I did. For those that don't watch Judge Rosie every day, she is fire every day. Most of her cases are pretty quick because I think any attorney that comes before her just doesn't really want to bring anything up. This guy, he has practiced for 27 years, but yeah, this must be his first time that he's heard of Judge Rosie. Not doing a great job.
However, I believe that by the time that Mr. Olson did serve time, and he was incarcerated in December, that the warrant would have been active at that point. But my big question is that people come into your court and you do give him second chances. Mr. Olson feels as if he has something to contribute to society by way of him being a former NFL football player and being a coach and being a personal trainer.
All of that's irrelevant to me, Mr. Bernard. Please do not try to curry favor with this court by going on about Mr. Olison's accolades and achievements. I'm looking at his behavior while he was placed on probation, and that's it.
However, I would like for him to have the opportunity to walk out of your court with a future.
He had that opportunity.
And so therefore, I'm requesting that he be continued on probation without being revoked. And he be allowed to successfully complete the term of his community supervision, that today before he leaves, he signs, thumbprints his terms of community supervision. That is my request.
Mr. Bernard,
Yes, Your Honor.
Before he leaves and signs his terms of community supervision, he's going to jail. He's not leaving. I don't know if that was just the attorney trying to throw it out there to put it in the judge's head. There is nothing about this hearing that says that this guy's leaving today. I'm sorry. He's not. He's not.
it is quite evident to the court that Mr. Olison does not do well without close supervision. So I would be willing to consider your request if Mr. Olison comes back to Bexar County and works his probation here. We'll hold that thought.
Yes.
State your closing argument.
All right. All right. That's why, this is why I asked you guys if you wanted me to play this case. Because we don't know how it ends. We can all assume the guy's going to jail, which is why I didn't mind spoiling it right there. He's going to jail. He's not leaving that courthouse. The closing arguments are not going to change the judge's mind on this. But again, that was Judge Rosie. And for those of you that weren't part of the vote last night, I am sorry if you're upset that we don't see the end of it. I did reach out. I reached out to every other court tuber I know, including Lone Wolf, who's in the chat. Good to see you, Lone Wolf. And I asked if anyone potentially had that case. And I got a no from everybody. So we can just assume that he's going to jail, because I don't see how his lawyer could fight him out of that. I really don't. All right. Well, we're going to move on now. I can already see the comment section. Why are you showing a case that didn't show an ending? Yeah, well, you guys should have said don't play it last night. You guys said yes. All right, next one. Let's go. We're moving on to Judge Oakley. This one hit the rounds today. I debated playing this quickly. I didn't want to. And then I saw it on 3 other channels within about 3 hours. So I probably should have put it out fast, but I didn't. So let's go. Judge Oakley. Really weird defendant.
We're just gonna adjourn this post-op, correct?
Yes, but
For the prosecutor?
yeah, we can adjourn that. Ms. Kozar has indicated she doesn't want me representing her, so I don't know whether to have her address the court on that.
You want to do that now, or you want to do that after you've talked to all your defendants?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
maybe
No, let's do it now. We can let the county go then.
Okay, yeah, maybe if I can speak to the rest of my clients. 2 of my clients are.
No. As soon as we get her on, Ms. Kozub, see if you can get a deputy to unmute you so we can talk.
And the prosecutor's Mrs. Dane. She's asking for the adjournment. She wasn't able to be here, so she has prosecutor.
On this file?
And Ms. Kosa, yes.
Okay. Ms. Kozub, can you hear me all right?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to release my lawyer. I need a new one because he already violated my rights and my privacy by answering a phone call with my biological mother, who has done nothing but commit crimes against me. And he told her that he was my lawyer before I even knew he was my lawyer. And I don't want my lawyer communicating with one of my biggest predators and enemies who have been doing nothing but committing crimes against me. And I'm pretty sure she set this up as well. So he will not be my lawyer.
Okay. Just so you understand, you have a right to a court-appointed attorney, but you don't get to pick the attorney unless you pay for the attorney. So I'm gonna put in for one request to see if they will appoint another attorney from downtown. I don't appoint the attorneys, that comes from downtown, understood?
Yes.
All right, so
Yeah.
that will be adjourned for probably safe 3 weeks.
Well, no, the prosecutor wants it mid-November because she's off.
Okay, so all right, so the
Your Honor,
prosecutor
can I say
wants,
something?
the prosecutor is asked to have this adjourned
Your
into
Honor,
mid-November, so that should be time for you to get a
okay,
new
Your Honor,
attorney.
I was kidnapped. They came in a car that was not Belleville. They busted into my house. I have video evidence. They took the knife out of my room that had nothing on it. He did not have gloves on it. He did not have gloves on. He did not have an evidence bag. He took my phone that I hid. He took my purse. When I was leaving to come here in the new jail, do you know that we're in the new jail? You know there's an old jail and a new jail? Well, when they took me in the new jail, he told me, oh, I don't have any property. So they stole my purse, they stole my phone, they stole all my identification. Then they did not take me to a Belleville station, and they were not in Belleville cars. They didn't even take me to Sumter station, and they were not in Sumter cars. They took me to a place called Huron. And when I asked the cop, why am I here? He said, I don't know, I don't work here. So I've been kidnapped. I'm trying to call the FBI. I have no wristbands. They won't let me give me 2 free phone calls. They won't give me a tablet. They barely let me out.
Please, every time you open your pie hole, you get it worse troubled. So stay the course, will you?
Wrong. They punish me in their own ways because no one's watching them. Since I got here, I've been screaming and asking and begging for a sergeant. No sergeant will come and talk to me. I just got sandals today. So many corrupt things are happening. Who do I report it to? No one will. I can't call the FBI. I've told every single person, not every person. I've told so many inmates, sheriffs, nurses, doctors, social workers. Will you please call the FBI? I've been kidnapped. This is not the first time. Will you please call the FBI? No one will call the FBI. And I know I don't get to choose my attorney, but I do have the right to have an attorney that does the legal thing and.
All right, I can't. Oh, I can't. I feel so bad laughing because yes, you guys are right. She does need a competency exam. There's something going on here, and I should not be laughing at this. Oh, yes. Can someone please call the FBI? And did you know there was an old jail and a new jail? There's a new jail and an old jail, and they took her to the new jail. How dare them? She really liked that old jail.
Respects my rights and doesn't tell a predator and an enemy who's attacking me, don't answer their phone call. And you're not supposed to tell anyone you're my lawyer or any information about my case. This is what happened last time with Lauren Anderson. She communicated with my biological parents who were in the case. They made deals and were talking. They had their cell phone number. So this is just going to keep going and going and going and going and going and going.
You done?
I am now, since you really don't want to hear the rest.
I didn't understand that. You're done now because what?
It doesn't sound like you want to hear the rest of the information and the truth and the facts.
There's nothing I can do with any of the information you just spewed at me.
Aren't you a judge? You can
Yeah,
call
but
the
I'm
FBI.
not in charge of the Wayne County Jail.
Huh? Excuse me, I'm sorry, I did not hear what you said.
That's because you're talking over me.
No, I wasn't talking when you said something about Wayne County Jail.
I am not in charge of the Wayne County Jail. It's called separation of powers. So you've asked for a new attorney. That takes time.
But I told you the cops kidnapped me. You can call the FBI and say, hey, you want to investigate and see if this is true? She's claiming to be kidnapped. And I've also been claiming to be sex trafficked. And I believe I'm being raped. And I believe that there are people in my house that I couldn't see. Even though I told the cops, hey, I think there's people here. And then they took me to a mental hospital saying, no, Alicia, you're manifesting this. There's no people here. Really, then why did I hear men's voices? And why are other people's mail being delivered at my house?
All right. I'm pausing it right now because Judge Oakley is about to have one of the most epic mic drops of all time. And I'm going to clip this and I'm going to use this because this is why we all love Judge Oakley. And I don't think he's being insensitive here. I just feel like he can't do anything. She won't stop talking. She won't stop interrupting. Like he's just sitting there. And yes, if you guys haven't seen this, be prepared for one of the best mic drops a judge has ever done to a defendant.
Let me know when I.
You're the only one I can tell. Who else are we gonna tell?
When you're gonna shut up long enough for me to respond, I'll be happy to respond.
Because you're a judge, you don't get to tell me to shut up.
Well, I certainly can, and I can make you shut up. Watch, here it goes.
You're live.
Here it comes.
I'll take it to the Supreme Court.
Can't imagine why you couldn't bond with that woman, Mr. Washington.
Yeah.
So who's your next client? Who do you need to talk to?
Oh. Oh, I can. I absolutely can. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch me do this real quick. Boom. I do not understand why I can't even say it. Oh, that was good. Judge Oakley is awesome. Judge Oakley is awesome. But yeah, I'm keeping that for a pie hole clip. Epic judge mic drops. That was perfect. All right. I don't know where we're going next. I've got 2 or 3 more clips. I don't know where we're going next. Hold on. You got to play the first couple seconds of it. Okay. This is traffic court. And for whatever reason, my new infatuation is watching, I don't know, like people in court for their very first time fighting traffic tickets that admit to crimes that they don't know that they're admitting to. Now, I don't know how old this kid is. He's probably, I don't know, anywhere between 18 and 24. No idea how old he is. But this is hilarious to me. And I don't know why, but I love hearing defendants come in thinking that they sound right. Like, oh, I'm gonna beat this ticket, and then admit to like 7 violations that aren't even part of the case. This is this guy. Let's go.
Calling case number 24RO06532. This is people of the City of Royal Oak versus Santino, pardon me, Lamana. Is that you, Mr. Lamana?
Yep. Give me a sec. Here we go.
Thank you. Mr. Lamana, today's the date and time set for your informal hearing. An informal hearing is just that. These are civil proceedings. They are not criminal. Nobody goes to jail today on this traffic ticket. However, it is considered serious enough that Officer Ismail issued the citation on the date in question, which was August the 10th of this year at nearly 9:30 in the morning. You're operating a 2021 Dodge Ram, black in color, northbound on Interstate 75 south of 11 Mile Road. And at that place in time, you exceeded the posted speed by a margin of 26 to 30 miles over. The posted speed at that piece of roadway is 70. Officer Ismail's remarks, which appear on your ticket, indicate observed vehicle travel at extreme high rate of speed, rear moving, same direction, radar 100 in a 70 mile per hour zone, locked it at 94. So the citation before the court is limited access speed 26 to 30 over. You may, sir, admit responsibility in this matter. The court will attach the fine and that'll close the case. You can admit responsibility with an explanation that you believe mitigates, or you can deny responsibility.
I'm completely denying.
I'm sorry?
I'm denying responsibility.
Very well.
I am completely denying. Coming in with arrogance. We like that. We like that. You know what? We're all behind you. You got this, man. You got this. Your sweet haircut. You got this, man. Beat the system. We have trust. We have trust and faith in you that you're going to beat this ticket.
Please raise your right hands, gentlemen. You solemnly swear the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you very much. Officer Ismail has the burden of proof. Officer, please proceed.
Your Honor, at the date and time, I was traveling northbound on I-75. When I looked at my rear view, it's general that we drive slower than the posted speed to see who's coming our way so that people can pass. A lot of times that's a way for us to determine who doesn't want to pass us. When I looked at my rear view mirror, I observed a black truck, later found to be the Dodge Ram TRX, approaching my position very fast. I initiated my rear moving radar. I got a reading of 100 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone. I waited for the truck to pass and initiated my front radar and got the additional radar of 94. After this, I proceeded to initiate a traffic stop and stop the vehicle on northbound I-75.
Thank you very much. And as to the radar operation, are you a certified radar operator?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you check the radar unit both at the beginning and at the end of your shift?
Yes, Your Honor.
This was standard radar and not LiDAR?
Correct.
And were there any other large metal objects or obstructions within your target cone to cause you any doubt that the vehicle you had in the capture was in fact the Dodge?
No, Your Honor. He had vehicles directly behind him. And then once he was in front of us, he was the sole occupant there.
Any indication of radio frequency interference?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You have a right to rebuttal. Anything about the traffic stop you believe the court should know before we move?
Yeah.
Not you.
All right, that's actually a great question, and perfect time question because I was going to let this play, but I paused it in between them talking. The police officer essentially acts as the prosecutor, and in this case, in this courtroom, they don't generally have a prosecutor. Yeah, it's generally just the judge, the defendant, and the police officer. Sometimes there will be a defense attorney if the defendant hires an attorney, but yeah, I don't know if that's normal in traffic cases or if it's just how this jurisdiction does it. I'm not exactly sure, but week in, week out, every time I watch this court, this is how they handle them, and it's up to the police officer to amend the ticket after listening to the defendant. This sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't happen. All right, let's go, guy. We got your back. We got your back. We know you can do this. We have faith in you. Just look at that grin on his face. He's got this. He can beat that police officer. There's no way he's wrong here. He wasn't going 100 miles an hour. Spoiler alert.
I'm talking to the officer.
No, Your Honor.
All right, now it's your turn. Mr. LaManna, what do you like the court to know?
All right, so I believe you still hit the wrong car, sir. Honestly, that's my full thought because I'm driving to the track.
Please address the court and not the officer.
Sorry.
You have to follow the rules of procedure. Thank you.
My fault. We were driving up to M1 Concourse, and I was ahead before the people following me. So I noticed you up there, and I know who's come behind because I saw my buddies were flying, up. But there was a truck, a white truck, falling behind him. They flew past. That's why I started flashing. I know that's what caught your attention because I flashed it because I was letting them know to slow down. And that's why I believe, because I was honestly doing maybe 80. I wasn't flying whatsoever. I was calm and cruising. But they were ripping past. And when you say you hit your LiDAR from the back or whatever, I still firmly believe you caught that white truck and my buddy going because I was not the one flying around whatsoever. And then even before, because I flashed you from behind, I wasn't flashing you, obviously. I was flashing at them to slow down still, because I saw you for at least another 2 minutes before they came. So I wouldn't be ripping around you knowing you're right there. And add on to the fact, after I did flash, I was still behind you, and then you were going back and forth, and that's why I was waiting until you lit me up to even pull over. I wasn't going over the speed limit really at all there.
So,
all right. Let's just break this down. He just admitted to driving 80 in a 70. That's speeding. And then he admitted to warning other drivers and a police officer was there. That's also a citation. You can't do that. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people don't know that you can't do that. You can't. You can get cited for that. So whether or not your story is true or not, you just admitted to 2 different citations. Good job, man. You're doing a great job. I think you can still win this, though. The judge is about to ask you some questions. We got this. We got this still. I have faith.
Just so that the court understands, initially Mr. Lamanna, you said you might have been going 10 over, but now you're saying you weren't going
No,
in
so
excess of the speed limit at all?
I'm in the left lane. This is how it's all going. Officer Ismail is maybe 4 or 5 cars up, all the way in the right lane. I'm in the left lane, or I don't know how many lanes there are, 4 maybe. So one of the farther, either the left or the closest to the left lane, going. I see them coming in my rear view mirror, flying up, and they are ripping past. So I flash, and that's how I see him look back, and then he hops over, even though he wasn't shooting. Maybe I don't know how you guys are using your radar or whatnot, but I wasn't going excess of over 90. That's a definitive, no matter what. Even if it was over speeding lane, it definitely wasn't nowhere near 90 at all. Those 2 other cars, though, I could tell you, yeah, they were definitely moving. And that's why I kept back. I flashed them. You were rolling up. I'm trying to keep pace with you because I already know you're going to light me up anyway. So that's why I was 1 over. You kept coming. I was like, all right, pull over for you. And you're saying excess of over 30, which is definitely not true.
Now you just admitted to going 20 over. I don't even know what to do. Guys, I don't think he's going to win this. We had faith in him. I really thought he could take down the judicial system. I don't think he's going to do it, guys. He just admitted to another crime or another citation. I don't want to call it traffic violation a crime. And is it considered a crime? I don't know. No, it's civil. Crimes are a totally different argument. Yeah, guy, I had faith in you. I had faith in you, guy. Sweet haircut, a lot of pompous energy. I had faith in you. You let us all down, man. I don't think you're getting out of this.
Thank you. Anything further?
No.
I have nothing else to add, Your Honor.
Thank you. The court has heard the testimony of both parties in this matter. While radar is a very helpful and investigatory tool, it is not necessarily conclusive. The burden of proof in a civil matter is a preponderance of the evidence, which law professors call the featherweight test. So that's 50-50 plus 1. Versus a criminal case, which requires a finding of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The court is convinced, frankly, by both the officer's testimony and some of the statements from Mr. Lamanna himself, that he was exceeding the posted speed limit. And at this time, the court finds Mr. Lamanna responsible for speeding at least 11 to 15 over. That sanction is a $170 fine that is payable through the pay portal on the court's website. Or Mr. Lamanna, you can walk a cash check or charge into the 44th District Court at 400 East 11 Mile Road, Monday through Friday, between 8:30 and 4:30. That is due within 7 days. If you wish to make an appeal of this court's ruling, you do so by posting a cash bond in the amount of $170 within 7 days. The matter is then placed on the formal hearing docket of the chief judge, and the city will be represented by a city prosecutor. So either as a bond or as a fine, 170 within 7 days. That completes your hearing. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one.
You know, he's upset that he got that ticket because he's like, my buddies were the ones who were you know what? Stop hanging out with them then. Even if they were the reason why the cop looked at you, you're still in the group. You were still speeding. And yeah, your pompous energy did not win you that case. I loved the energy he brought to it though. He thought he had that. It's like, oh, I'm gonna beat this. And he came in it with confidence. Even people that come in thinking that they're like, oh, I'm gonna win this, don't have that guy's confidence. He came in with a lot of confidence. Again, not the right kind, but all right, we're going into this is the last case. I think we still have like 20 minutes left of the video. We only have one case left. Speaking of speeding, yep, this is the last one. Judge Tammy, is it? I always mispronounce Hayward. I always call her like Howard or something else. I never say her because it's always Judge Tammy, right? so I never say the last right name. I think I've said 3 or 4 different versions of her last name. Judge Tammy. This guy, yeah, I'm gonna say this. This guy's kind of an asshole, but you'll see. This is an interesting one. It's still traffic though.
Calendar is Frank Hogan. That's Chris Tolles' client. Frank Hogan. Mr. Tolles, press available here. Oh, Mr. Tolles, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Judge.
All right. So, Mr. Hogan, have you and Mr. Tolles worked this out with the state?
So I'm sorry. Judge, we want to work this case out. We want to plead guilty. That was always our intent. That was our announcement at the last calendar. We want to take the plea at the original terms that was offered by the state. We felt that it wasn't the fairest deal, but it wasn't a deal that we did agree to. We had continued the case only because I was trying to see if perhaps a brief continuance and my client being able to plead NOLO because he has a CDL might be able to save his license and things of that nature. The original offer was a $500 fine, a 20 hours of community service, and we wanted to plead NOLO because we wanted to do whatever we could to try to CDL. We had asked the state, in which they've done many times, to reduce the speed. They refused to do that. And
they don't do it, Mr. Tolles. I'm gonna tell you, recently they're not reducing 35s and over. I have not seen them reduce. With the standard thing is 12 months, a driver improvement course, a $500 fine. I rarely seen them take a NOLO on it, and 12 months probation, a $500 fine, and a driver improvement course is usually what I've seen them ask for.
Well, I've seen different things in different courtrooms, Judge.
Yeah, this one it's been pretty standard for the last year and a half.
Okay, well, like I said, I've sat in courtroom and seen them reduce speed. I've seen them negotiate. I've seen negotiations. But having said that, Judge, we wanted to take advantage of the what we would call the standard deal in this particular case, and so my client is now since lost his job. And he's now looking for employment, and so now it becomes more important that he take advantage of a NOLO because he is a CDL driver. That's how he makes his living. But he's lost his job, so he's going to have to find new employment. So he's not in the same position that he was as far as the fine is concerned, and he's not in the same position as he's done some community service. I did send something over, but he still has.
So, Mr. Tolles, you've known me for a long time. You know I don't have the most patience. What is it you're asking me for? Is this negotiated? What we doing?
I just want him to be able to plead NOLO to the charge, for him to get the $500 fine, the driver's import course, and the 20 hours of community service, and that is what we're prepared to do
With probation.
With the probation, as the court said, and to have his conditions terminated or suspended upon completion of those terms. The only thing that's changed was the fact that we asked for a continuance. On the first time was on the calendar.
Okay, but what's the offer now? I'm not sure why that's. What's the issue?
Well, the issue is that's not the offer now, Your Honor. When the defense requested a continuance over our objection, you actually said that you would be increasing community service to 100 hours. So that is what the new offer is.
Because we were talking about him doing community service at a dog shelter or facility because he likes
correct.
Dogs.
Again, over our objection. So the standard offer is no longer the offer, Mr. Tolles, and we discussed that when you called me. So if your client wants to plead negotiated, then we will keep the $500 fine in place. We'll keep the defensive drive-in, but the community hours is 100. Because again, that was over state's objection when the judge granted your continuance.
Well, again, Judge, and I'm speaking to the court now, not Ms. Hagler. I'm speaking to the court, and I'm asking the court to do what it just said was the standard within these particular cases, which is 20 hours of community service, a $500 fine, and 12 months probation. We're asking that it be suspended. The only reason the 100 hours came up, Judge, was because my client spoke out of turn and said something about, well, I could do this. But I think that in fairness, if we're being fair and consistent in the way the courts are run, that there's never been a time when the defense has asked for a continuance and that's changed the plea deal, or that when the state asked for a continuance, we've gotten some kind of benefit or lowered the plea deal because the state needed a continuance. I don't think a continuance, a one-time continuance, where we've already stated that we're pleading guilty, should increase the community.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do. So the guilty, the no goes off the table. We'll take the guilty plea, and I'll go with the $500 fine and the 20 hours of community service, because Mr. Hogan has been here a ton of times and he's gonna have to find a job. So we'll go ahead and stick with that. He can have pay only probation and it'll terminate upon completion.
Well, Judge, we still want to take advantage of the NOLA. That's why he's here. He's
No,
CDL.
the guilty. I'll take the guilty and then the 500 and the 20 hours.
And then the NOLA, I just get the points and possibly everything for my license gets suspended, so I can't go to work anyways, right? That's basically what happens.
But this is my understanding that y'all announced that you would take the guilty plea the last time. What has changed? I don't, this 35 miles plus an hour is going to suspend, it's going to have negative consequences for a CDL holder no matter what. So I don't know why somebody would risk it. That's not my call.
Yes, Mimi, join us on Mondays. I am planning something special this Monday, and I'm really hoping it works out. I don't want to spoil anything in case it doesn't, but if it works out the way I think it is, it's going to be amazing, and you guys aren't going to want to miss it. But it has to be on Members Monday. And when, again, I don't want to leak anything, and I suck at this. I suck at it because when I'm excited about something, I want to say it. But if it works out for Monday, I'll have an extremely special guest on Monday, and it's going to be awesome. But like I said, it has to be on Monday. It has to be a Members Monday. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop talking. But the reason I said that is because Mimi and Sparkle Poots, thank you guys so much for the gifted memberships. 10 gifted memberships. Mimi and Sparkle Poots, thank you so much. Welcome to the 10 new members. I surely do appreciate it. All right, let's go. I almost said way too much about. Yeah. Okay. Let's just go. Let's keep watching. Head and Shoulders guy over here.
My call is let's just get this done and keep moving, because
That's what we're trying to do, Judge. And
I get that, Mr. Tolles, but just like in the days of Buckhead Bonds, what we don't do is tailor everything to what the individual defendant needs. If you're talking about standard, I'm telling you what's standard. And so this is not different than I'm resetting you back to the standard offer. That's what you're getting. They're not giving no lows on just for speeding 35 plus miles an hour. That's rare. That's a choice you make.
okay, well, again, and maybe this is because I don't have 100 speeding cases a year. I didn't know the standard that was the quote unquote standard. I didn't know that there was no deviation, that there's no.
Well, Mr. Tolles, I can deviate on 21 to 25 miles per hour over the limit. I can deviate on 11 to 15. But when we're talking 35 plus miles an hour over the limit for somebody who is a trained driver, and that's everybody with a license, somebody who knows that that's not to be done. I mean.
And I explained.
Yeah, here's the thing. And I think a lot of people, especially people that have been following me for a while, watch a lot of court, especially a lot of traffic court. CDLs are kind of sacred. When you mess up, you lose it. And when you lose your CDL, you lose your job. This guy was driving 35 miles an hour over the speed limit. He lost his job. Yeah, pardon my French, but no shit, Sherlock. What were you thinking? That's all you have to say is why. He's not arguing the fact that he was doing it. He's trying to mitigate. Well, if I take a a no-low, that means I'm not pleading guilty. I may still be able to get my CDL back. You were driving 35 miles an hour over the speed limit with a CDL when you know how much work you had to put in to get it and that your job required it. It's on you, man. It's on you.
And
You can play that little violin for somebody else. If he wasn't out here driving like it was NASCAR, then we might have a different conversation. But at this point, speeding 35 plus miles an hour over the limit is just as bad to me as a DUI or a reckless, because you could still kill somebody.
Understood, Judge. And like I said, I didn't understand that was your position. I now know that that's your position. I didn't know that what I was asking for was as far as the continuance to try, like I said.
The continuance has not made a difference to me. We're back at reset. So we don't need to even be worried about the continuance. I'm back at what is the standard offer in a 35 plus mile an hour case. So if that's what you want, let's go ahead and do it.
Well, that wasn't explained to us, Your Honor, at the last thing, that was the
What were you expecting, Mr. Tolles? So even if it's not the standard, if that's what I want to go with today, I'd still be upheld.
Maybe so. I mean, I'm not here to say that you would not be. I'm just saying that, in defense of my client, like I said, we've been agreeable, and we came in here trying to negotiate and trying to resolve the case in a fair and consistent manner. And when we were last here, the only thing I had asked the court, I didn't know this NOLO thing was a thing. That's the first time I'm hearing that. I didn't know I was asking for something that's just never given. I did not know that. So if that's what the court is telling me, that wasn't explained to us. It was my client that brought up the 100 hours of community service. It wasn't even the court. My client, like I said, spoke out of turn and said he would do 100 hours community service because he wanted to keep his license. So he wanted to, I guess, impress the court. I did not know that was, something that the court just did not do, that it wasn't explained to me. So if that's what the court is saying, then I still think that my client should get the benefit of either a NOLO with 100 hours.
I'll do 100 hours with NOLO.
With NOLO with 100 hours.
If you give me paperwork to go do community service somewhere, I'll do it. I didn't have paperwork 4 months ago. I just need paperwork to do community service. I'm free to do.
All right, let me hear from Ms. Hagler. Ms. Hagler.
Your Honor, again, overstate's objection. Everyone was in court. You put on the record that he would do 100 hours of community service.
What you just said.
The defendant was aware. His attorney was aware. Everyone was aware that was the new offer. The state is not. Again, our initial offer is off the table. So we'll just defer to the court on how you wish to proceed with. Again, it was 100 hours of community service.
I remember. But I don't think that's what Mr. Tolles is talking about. Mr. Tolles is focused on getting a NOLO.
Right. Well, again, no, Your Honor. Again, we're going to proceed forward, like the judge said, with the guilty. If the defense attorney wants to have his IN do 20 hours community service, that's fine. But again, we're deferring to the court's ruling on this, so there will be no NOLOs on this case.
And that's not what Ms. Hagler said to me the other day. But now she wants to say that in court. She said,
well, because now you're trying to have your client do what, 20 hours? No, that was not the new offer.
Well, the court has explained to me, and I've known the court, the judge for a long time. If the court is telling me, and I take her at her word because I trust Judge Hayward. If Judge Hayward says that this is the standard and this is what we're doing here, and I'm comfortable.
The standard. If it's what I decided to do in this case, I would still be fine. I'm not outside the lines of what makes sense. It's 35 plus miles an hour over the limit. So what you're arguing is he should do 100 hours of community service and get a NOLO. That's what you want?
Yes.
I just can't do the NOLO. I'm not feeling the NOLO.
But that's what you agreed to do when we left the court. You said you would do the NOLO and the 100 hours of community service.
He agreed to the 100 hours. The judge was not about guilty versus, yeah. Yeah, that was all she agreed to.
Hold on. Let me look back in my book.
Please, because the reason for the delay was because of the 5-year.
Hold on.
Yes. That's why it was continued, because of the 5 years, so we could do the NOLO. Otherwise, we just pled guilty that day.
I still would have had a job. Lost $100,000 job for a speeding ticket. I was being chased. I approve. I'm sorry.
Man, no, you stop talking. You lost the $100,000 job. You did. You're right. You lost it. Your actions. You're being chased. You're being chased, man. Stop talking. Stop talking. If you had an actual defense claim to driving that fast, it would have already been said on the record, not 20 minutes into your hearing. And not at the, I don't know, third or fourth time that you've been in front of the court. I'm sorry. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. This is his fault. Stop blaming other people.
Look, I don't know the background on the whys and the wherefores. I don't. Let me look back, because I usually have notes on these things.
Yes, and because he was advised that there was a NOLO plea that was taken less than like 4 years, almost 5 years, but it was a little less than 5 years. So if we did the plea today, he could do that.
Okay, so on September 5th, I had that he wanted to do a not guilty and a bench trial. And then on September 17th, there was a waiver. And then the last time he was here, he was wanting to get stuff done and you weren't here. So I didn't let him make any announcements at that point. So the last time we talked about this was way back on the calendar call, before the calendar, or some point around the calendar call.
It was at a calendar call.
August 5th.
Yeah, it was at a calendar call, and you gave him.
But since then, we've had a waiver, we've had a not guilty and a bench trial. So, I mean, at this point, Mr.
Any of that, Judge. The only thing that has happened since then is the last time I was here, I had a conflict. That is it. The only thing that's changed, the only thing that got pushed back from last week, because we were supposed to do this last week, I had a conflict. That is it. He was supposed to come in and do the plea, the NOLO plea to the 100 hours of community service, the $500 fine last week. I was not here because I had a conflict. There was no waiver, there was no bench trial, there was no nothing. And so the court told us to come back this week, which we had done. I had talked to Ms. Hagler over the phone. I wasn't aware that she didn't tell me that this was that. She just told me that this was her recommendation. And I said, well, fine. And I told her I didn't know why she was objecting to my continuance. So the reason for the continuance, Judge, was so that he could take a NOLO plea outside the 5 years, so we could try to save his CDL, so we could try to save his livelihood. And that's all we're asking the court to do today. And the court agreed to do that.
With the 100 hours.
With the 100 hours of community service, probation, all that.
Money, you want to double it, I'll pay it. That's what you want.
let me think about it. Give me a minute.
All right, thank you.
All right. What do we think she's going to do? What do we think she's going to do? He's already lost his job. This is just, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know how the CDL works. There's a lot of rules to having a CDL. But potentially getting a NOLO on this instead of a guilty plea, he may not lose it, but he's already lost his job because of it. So what do you think is going to happen? Is Judge Tammy going to give him the NOLO? You can tell she's thinking about it. 100 hours of community service. That's a lot of community service. I mean, that's 2.5 weeks worth of community service. It's a lot. All right, let's go.
So, Mr. Tolles,
All right, yeah, I laughed way too hard at that. Peg leg finance, yes. I shouldn't be laughing at that, but that was funny. He does. He has plenty of time for community service. He lost a $100,000 job. Now go spend the next nearly 3 weeks to think about what you've done. Think about what you've done. English, right? Good.
the court is going to give you the 100 hours of community service in the NOLO and the $500 fine.
Thank you, Judge.
Only because a couple of things. Mr. Hogan has been here every single time since April, at least, and because I don't want it to appear that you're being punished for a continuance, because that's not how I roll. But I also, I just really feel like this could have been done a lot quicker, a lot sooner. We didn't have to have all these delays.
Yes, and most of that was my conflict letters and
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, Mr. Toll.
I went to jail.
Mr. Hogan was here every single time.
Mr. Hogan even actually went to jail because I was on a conflict letter.
I had 10 hours of community in Plain County. I lost my job, Plain County. I had to bond out, second chance bail's bondsman.
Yeah.
I'm a person that's on top of everything, so
I got you, Mr. Hogan. So that part plays into it also. So, Mr. Hogan, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yeah.
All right. So you're before the court on speeding 35 plus miles an hour over the limit. This is case 2023 CR 06129. You're represented by attorney Chris Tolles. You're entering a plea of NOLO. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. You understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
Factual basis and factual basis, please, and I have the recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about June 16th of 2023, Officer R, last name Calvert, C as in cat, A-L, B as in Victor, E-R-T, provide the defendant a ticket for speeding. The defendant was going 106 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. Pursuant to the remarks in the ticket,
There you go. 106 in a 65 mile an hour zone. Wait, is that what she just said? Did she say 106 and 65? Seriously.
defendant was recklessly changing lanes through traffic on the HOV while the officer was on the HOV ramp. Officer Calvert also used his stalker radar in clocking the defendant's speed. And those are the facts of the case and the facts that occur in Clayton County, Georgia.
All right, Mr.
Yeah, no. Sorry, man. 35 plus. I guess that's what the biggest ticket you can have. 35 plus. Because 40 seems like a brand new tier it should be. You're going 40 over the speed limit. And I think we all kind of assumed he was on the highway where the speed limit would be 65, 70. But man, how little you care about your CDL, dude. How little you care about it. You're a professional driver when you have a CDL. Even our good friend, our best friend, broken system, broken trust is not going to defend you on this. He won't. He won't. Sorry. You have a CDL. You're driving commercially. He wouldn't even defend you on this. I really hope he's here and he's going to comment about what I just said. And yeah, I take back the best friend part. But he's been kind of behaving himself lately. Yeah, kind of. All right, let's finish this one up.
Hogan, I'm going to accept your plea of no law. I'll sentence you to pay a fine in the amount of $500. It's going to be $737.50 with the surcharges, 100 hours of community service, and you'll be on only probation until your 100 hours of community service and your fine are paid. After that, your probation will terminate, but you have to complete all of the terms and conditions of probation. You have to report while you're on probation. Mr. Hogan, you're a commercial driver, and so you've seen crazy stuff on the roads. I don't know that you be part of crazy stuff on the roads. You understand?
I'm definitely not. I'm after this situation, like I said, I don't want to own a gun. I don't even want to come outside no more. So just this little situation with all the other craziness that's going on in the world, I'm setting my house up as a bunker so I don't have to come out, so
that's not necessary.
But like I said, the thing is why I got tolls in the first place was to represent no, it's over, but with Miss Hagler, it's like I said, it's like I said, only what the cops. So I'm confident enough that if she was to contact the sheriff, he would be like, hey, there was a black truck. I remember that guy because it's hard not to remember somebody doing 106. There was a black truck chasing him. I just stopped him first because he was going faster. You see what I'm saying? So by the time I seen there was cops.
So was this somebody you had made contact with?
Yes, I was selling puppies and I had all the paperwork to show. That's when I mentioned to you I was a dog breeder and I was.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the puppies part of this. Man, I don't even know what else to say anymore. He's a dog breeder, selling puppies. No, he's selling puppies. So what? You know what? I'm just not going to talk. I'm not going to talk. I did want to say one thing. I don't think I'm guessing he was off duty. He wasn't driving a semi. He wasn't driving his truck at the time. He was driving his car. He was in a hurry to sell some puppies, apparently is what he just said. And Dorina, yeah, his attorney did that multiple times. Multiple times. He kept telling him to stop talking.
I was trying to sell the puppies and then somebody was trying to forcefully take one and I started running. You see what I'm saying? So it's like my initial thing was to run. So like I said, it's already done. I just need paperwork from either the probation or you. So when I go to these places, I have something, a court order saying, hey, I have the time now. I have weekends and now I got Monday through Sunday to do the community service. So I apologize. This won't be the last time you possibly see me. Hopefully not for speeding, but like I said.
But Mr. Hogan, just don't sell no more puppies. I told you what I feel about rescue versus
I got you. I ain't got no more. I just did it to save me some taxes on my dog food, man. That's it. So when I find out, I can.
Sir, please. Every time you open your pie hole, you get it worse troubled. So stay the course, will you?
A pit the other day that was just hanging out at somebody's house.
My dogs are XL American Bullies. They are.
I get that we go fancy. I'm a pit bully girl myself, but what I'm saying to you is the ones that you sell, you can't trust that they're not going to end up on the street. I saw a Staffordshire bully mix, beautiful dog, Brindle, beautiful dog the other day, rescued it because it was hanging out at my friend's house and she's not a dog person. Dog was amazing. But I couldn't take another dog and I can't find anybody else who could take them. So the whole point is as long as you're breeding dogs, if you look at the Clayton County Shelter, I'm on their website. They send out a notice every week of the dogs that are going to be euthanized because they can't find homes. And 99% of those dogs are Staffordshire or bullies.
It's going to
99%.
Get worse with people's pockets. People can't feed themselves. So
it's not that, Mr. Hogan. It is because people get dogs because they think it's a thing to do. but they don't understand that dogs they require time, they require attention. And so it's not so much about the food, it's more about the fact that they get them and then it's too much. I want to go out. I don't want to go home and feed the dog. So people, if we're breeding dogs, we're just adding to that population of dogs that every Thursday are on the kill list. Every Thursday.
Can I do the community service at your place?
Oh man. Again, sorry for the last minute twist of this case. I completely forgot about this. This angers me a lot. Oh, I'm a dog person. I think everyone that knows me knows I'm a dog person. I had a dog for a long time. If you're on Discord, you see my dog. Yeah, I don't like this part of the end, but it has to happen. Muse, yeah, no, I've got about 10 ideas for merch when I finally start doing merch. I'm not doing merch till I hit 25,000 subs though. I'm not gonna push it. You know, there's no reason to. You know, I know some of you would love it, but I'll do it once I finally feel like to myself that I've made it in YouTube. But I'm just not gonna push it just to push it. So, but once I hit 25,000 subscribers, I will have a few different designs out there. But yeah, the Stay the Course, Shut Your Pie Hole, that has to be one because that's my favorite clip. All right. Anyways, you know what? I'm gonna let this video play out. We're at that point. We can let it play out. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. There's only I think there's like a minute, maybe 2 minutes left of this clip. But yeah, when okay, again, pardon my French, but when an asshole brings up selling puppies, like I already didn't like this guy, and he just did something else that I don't like. I can't, and I actually meant to cut this part out of it, and I forgot to for this reason because I don't like saying bad things about people, and this just made me not like this guy even more. And I don't know him, right? I don't know him. There's no reason why I should be judging him this hard. So I'm gonna let this video play out so I don't get myself into trouble. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for the gifted memberships and the membership milestone. You guys are awesome. Mimi, you're still here. Thank you so much for that. Again, for the Cash App last night. I appreciate that. And for those of you that didn't see my intro, I will be back in Judge Simpson courtroom on Friday. So today's Wednesday. So less than 48 hours, we will see the conclusion of Haley's case. I will be there with them for that. Yeah. So let's look forward to that. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a really good day. I do want to say, if anyone wants to come and hang out with us, that's absolutely fine. It's an open courtroom. You can. The only thing I'm going to say, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of people there, a couple of people have said that they want to come. So all I'm going to ask is just be respectful. Be respectful. It's a courtroom. It's not a chat, right? So don't show up thinking you're in a YouTube chat. And I'm saying this because I feel like I need to, based on a past experience of someone that went to court with me. So it's not a YouTube chat. It's a courtroom. So if you do want to come and you're in the area, I welcome it. Come hang out with us. Please respect Haley and Andrea. They're not going to know you, even though you feel like you know who they are. That's very important. Don't just walk up to them and start acting like you're their BFF. Don't do that. And also respect the court. That's all I ask. But if you want to come, feel free. I would love a crowd of people there to be excited for Haley when the case gets dismissed. But please be respectful. Okay. That's it. I feel like I needed to say that. I don't know why. I have a couple fears for Friday that I just do. And yeah, so it was said though. And I feel better now for saying it. All right. I'm going to let this play out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'm going to let you go now. I am rambling. Again, there's only about a minute left of this case. Nothing really happens at this point. They're talking about puppies. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. until next time. Bye.
Clayton County.
You can do community service at whatever dog show.
You say you connected to that place, so that's why I want to go there and be like, I'm here for Miss Hayward to,
Well, you can just take the paperwork. They'll take you.
If they know you, then I'm gonna take. That's where I'm gonna go. So when I bring it back, Hagley can see I did the 100 hours at your place, and that'll be it. So
It's not my place. It's just the county shelter.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be happy to know you sent me there to save some animals. So
They
I'm
need
an
the
animal
help.
person. I talk to spiders and trees and stuff. So like I said, I'm one with nature, so like I said.
got you, Mr. Hogan. Well, they will appreciate the help. When you leave the courtroom, go to your right. The courtroom on your right, courtroom 305, go through that first set of double doors, and Miss James is going to be in there. She's going to get you set up for probation. Ask her any questions that you might have pertaining to your particular situation, but she's going to explain everything you need to do. If you're having difficulty with anything, especially completing the community service, please make sure you talk to your probation officer. They're here to make sure you successfully complete. You understand?
We'll get the paperwork there as well, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All righty, take care, Mr. Hogan.
Excuse me.